Okay, welcome back, dear students. So we'll resume our discussion with the dynamic method dispatch, or we also call it polymorphism. Let's see how it works. The dynamic method dispatch, or as I told you, it can also be called as polymorphism. Remember, polymorphism theoretically, the definition is very simple. I mean, we said that polymorphism is a concept where we have got single interface and multiple actions. It's a situation where we use same interface to perform multiple actions. For example, my eyes. These are an interface for observing the environment, for watching any new development. So say for example, while I'm sitting in my office, if I see on the door some cleaning boy, with my eyes, I will probably ignore him. I know that he will be carrying out his job. But if say for example, I see a lion coming in, my reaction will be different. I will rush towards the door and try to escape. So the bottom line is, I mean, single interface, multiple action. We use same interface to perceive environment, and depending on environment, we are going to take different actions. We discussed this concept earlier theoretically, but today we'll see its implementation. Now remember, in Java, we can achieve dynamic method dispatch or polymorphism either by using method overriding, using class inheritance, or we can also achieve it by using interfaces. We have not covered interfaces so far. We'll see how to achieve polymorphism using interfaces, but today we'll see how to achieve polymorphism by using inheritance. You will see single interface multiple actions. You will see that we'll use same statement, and that same statement will be performing varying actions. You will see this happening today.
सर
So
इसे अगेन डिफाइन कर दें कि कितने वेज में हम अचीव कर सकते हैं.
and in two ways. The first way is through inheritance that we'll see today. And the second way is by using Java interfaces. Java also provides a beautiful concept of interfaces. We have not covered interfaces so far. Interfaces are like class, but they cannot have method bodies. We'll see the concept of interfaces at some later stage. But for the time being, just remember, in Java, we can achieve polymorphism by using inheritance or by using interfaces, right? And polymorphism theoretical concept, you are clear. We have got single interface and we can perform multiple actions, right? When I say single interface, you can imagine I have this mobile screen with this single interface. I mean, with this single touch pad, I can perform multiple action. I mean, depending on what is happening at the runtime. If at the runtime, if this screen is locked, you know the interface performs no action. But if that screen is unlocked, then you know on the same location, when I touch, it actually performs different actions. So the idea is by using same interface, you can perform multiple actions, right? Now you will see this happening programmatically. For example, in this example, we've got animal. Inside animal, we've got the sound class, right? And we have got dog. Inside dog, we have got sound class. And inside German dog, for example, for the time being, I remove German dog. Here, I have got class, maybe a monkey, right? A monkey is also an animal that can extend from animal class, right? And in monkey, I'm writing nothing. I'm just having public void sound method. So we have got same sound method inside monkey too. And the sound of monkey is right? So this is the sound of monkey. Okay, and then yeah, monkey, then dog, and animal. And then let's have one more class. Maybe I can have a class of cat that also extends from animal, right? And the sound for cat, you know that it's meow. It's meow, meow. Right. So this is the sound of cat. Just one more class. Say for example, cat, monkey, and then say for example a donkey. Donkey. You know the sound of donkey, eh? He, ah, he, you know, this is sound of a donkey, right? So we have got a dog, we have got monkey, we have got cat, and we have got donkey, right? Now in the previous class, in the previous session, we discussed that a variable of base class can hold object of derived class. What I'm going to do, I'm going to have animal, animal. Say for example, I say animal, I name it animal, and this is an array. This is an array, right? Now what this will hold? This will hold dog d equal to d equal to new dog, right? And we also create cat c equal to new cat, and we also create a donkey, right? Donkey equal to new donkey, right? We create object of donkey, object of class donkey. I can call it cat, I can call it dog, right? So we have got dog, cat, donkey, and monkey, right? Monkey, monkey equal to new monkey. Right. So we've got these four objects of four different classes. And the good thing is in each of these classes, we have got sound method. And that sound method is doing nothing. It is except it is only telling us what is sound of that particular animal. Right. Now, see, this is possible. Animal, animal equal to, I'm going to keep here dog, cat, donkey, and monkey. That's perfect, right? It is like I have integer a equal to 1 2 3 4. What this is possible? I mean, these are integer value, right? We can keep in an array of integer. So here I'm doing same thing. We have got this animal, and inside animal we are keeping animal values. The at the zeroth location we have got dog. At first location we have got cat. At second location we have got donkey. At third location we have got monkey. Right. Now see the magic. What I'm doing, I'm going to have, say for example, animal A, right? So this animal A is for the timing referring to nothing except null, right? Now I say, for example, for integer I equal to uh, for I equal to 0, I less than 10, and I plus plus, right? Every time, what I'll be doing, every time I will be generating a random number, right? In order to generate random number, I create class of random class, right? Is equal to new random, and random class is inside java.util, right? So I import java.util.random. I import random class, right? Okay. Now inside random class, we have got a method, and I think that method is next int. That method is next int random class in Java. I think the method name is next int. Next int method name is yeah, we have got next int. Yeah, we have got return the next uniformly distributed int values from this random number generated sequence. Next int. Next int. Okay, yeah, we have got next int method. So what I do here, I say integer index equal to random dot next int. So what this will do, it will generate a random number from 0 to 1 minus this value, right? It means that this method will generate random number from 0 to 4, 0 to 3. So sometimes it will generate 0, other time 1 or 2 or 3 with equal probability, right? So this will generate a random number. This will generate a random number. And what I'm doing, I say a equal to animal at index. So if say for example it generates randomly 2, then what A will have? A will have the object of donkey, right? And if randomly it generates 1, then A will have object of cat. And if randomly generates say for example 3, then A will have object of monkey. And every time I say a dot sound. Now see here, this is single interface, and we will have multiple actions, whatever happens at runtime, the dynamic method dispatch. I mean, this random number we are generating dynamically. This will be generated at the runtime, and whatever random number is generated from that random number, we take an object, right? And on that object, we call the method. We are clear that A is the reference of animal, but the object that we are storing inside this reference of animal, it can be dog, can be cat, can be donkey, or can be monkey. But which of these 4 will be, we don't know, because at runtime, we are generating a random number, and depending on what happens at runtime, we'll take one of these 4 objects. And that object we are storing in animal, and then we are writing a dot sound. So this single interface, a dot sound, will actually be yielding different results at runtime. Sometimes it will say how ho ho, sometimes it will say meow. Once I you know the sound of donkey or sound of monkey. So that depends on the runtime environment. It is exactly I'm using my eyes to take different action depending on what is happening at the runtime. If I see a mob coming to my office to kill me, I will certainly run. But if I see, say for example, my youngest daughter, if she is coming, I will rush towards her to just hug her. Right. So that what action will be performed, it depends on what random number is generated. So the idea is you are using that single interface to perform multiple actions. Right. So we have done this arrangement and we run this loop for 10 times. We generate 10 and random numbers, and then we see what action will actually be performed depending on what number is generated. Clear? Let's see let's see what happens at runtime. We clear it, and then we say java c we compile the code, super subdemo.java, super subdemo.java. We compile it. Okay, there are many errors. What are those errors? Illegal.
That donkey की spelling.
Uh,
Class की donkey class की spelling.
Okay, let's change it. Donkey. Okay, animal equal to animal equal to, say for example, animal equal to this. What's wrong in it? It should be okay. Okay, animal equal to dog, cat, donkey, monkey. Animal A. For integer I equal 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. Okay, that should be okay. Java C, yeah. A dot sound. Okay, we made this method private, so we have to make it public again, so that overriding is actually in action. Otherwise, this is not method overriding. Okay, Java C, you can see it has been now compiled. Java super sub demo. Huh? This monkey, dog. This is, I don't know, what is the sound of? Huh?
Donkey.
Donkey. Right. Okay. And this one is again monkey. This one is again donkey. This one is cat, and this one is dog. Right. If you run it again, you might see different execution. I mean, runtime environment is changed. You can see at this time dog, cat, donkey, monkey, donkey, monkey. You can see every time we run, every time we see different execution. So the idea is, I mean, the same statement, the same interface is generating different output at runtime depending on what is runtime environment. This is just a very simple example where you see where you see output from a statement depending on the runtime situation. A very classical, very basic example. But there are thousands of applications of this simple logic. At runtime, I mean, usually you've got some code which is being executed online, then situation changes, your code also behaves differently depending on what is happening at the runtime. So the idea is when you've got single interface and multiple actions, you call it polymorphism. And this is a classical example of polymorphism, where your statement a dot sound is calling different methods. When I say single interface, multiple action, I mean multiple methods, I mean multiple functions. So you can see in this case, the same statement is calling different methods, depending on which object it is referring to. So sometime it calls a sound from dog, sometime it calls sound from cat, sometime it calls sound from donkey, sometime it calls sound from monkey. So you can see single interface, multiple actions, depending on what is happening at the runtime. That's called, polymorphism, a very beautiful concept. I mean, in future, you will be encountering thousands of situations where this concept will be pretty much a useful concept for your coding. So you need to fully understand it. Clear? Any question? Any question?
No, sir.
Okay. Hassan, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Rahul? Rahul? Okay. Yasmin, are you clear? Yasmin, are you clear? Okay. Saika,
Yes, sir. Clear.
great. Aisha, Aisha, okay, okay, great. We'll see more examples of polymorphism as we keep.
Yes, sir, clear.
Great, great. Thank you, beta. Thank you. So we'll see more example of the same concept, but I think its basic principle should be clear. Single interface and multiple actions. And this is also called dynamic method dispatch. We call it dynamic method dispatch because see this single statement. which method will be attached with A that is decided at runtime, that is decided dynamically. When we say dynamic method dispatch, we mean that attachment of the sound method with the reference of animal is actually taking place at runtime. It depends on the situation. Here, the situation is simple. We are generating a random number. And depending on what random number has been generated, we will be attaching one method with that. Right. But this is a simple classical situation, but generally we've got lots of other situation where this dynamic method dispatch will be very, very important. I know that this example has been quite a big example. So I'm going to share this with all of you through message. I'm not sure later on I can upload it on LMS. I'll forget. So it's better that I send this file to everyone from here. Okay, on IBA teaching spring 2021 code animal class super subdemo dot java. So you can take this code from here. This is the full code that we have developed in today's class to just understand the full concept of method overriding, inheritance, and then dynamic method dispatch. Okay, now using abstract classes, this is another beautiful concept. I mean, here, see, you can argue that when we have this type of method for which we don't know what to eat or what is the sound, then there is no point having body of this method. There is no point of having body into this method. You say this body is useless. I mean, we know that we don't know what animal we are talking about, so we cannot explain the sound. We cannot write here exact sound. So why can't we keep this body, say for example, empty? Okay, you can keep it empty, but then empty body again does not make any sense. So you in such situation, Java says you should have abstract methods. You should have abstract methods. Abstract method is a method that does not have any body. Abstract method is a method that does not have any body. Right. Similarly, eat here should be abstract because we don't know which animal we are talking about. So we cannot tell exactly what should be the food. So here we again say it should be an abstract method. So abstract method is a method which does not have any body, right? For the time being, let me not make eat as an abstract, otherwise I will be running into another issue. I'll come back to this point, but for the time being, we just make sound as an abstract method, right? So we have an abstract method sound and it does not have any body, so we have made this method as an abstract, because without making it abstract you cannot have a method like this. I mean, if you do not make it abstract, then body of this method is mandatory, but if you make it abstract method, then it can have an empty body. It can be a method without body. It can be a method without body. Right. Let's try to compile it. Java super sub demo. Now see, this says animal is not abstract and does not override method sound. If you have got an abstract method in a class, then that class should be declared as abstract. Then that class should be declared as abstract, which means that if you have an abstract method in a class, then that class itself should be abstract. That class itself should be abstract. Right. Now let's see. Now it should be compiled. Abstract, abstract. Right. So now you can see the code has been compiled. Right. Now, point number one, if you have a method and you think that it's a body I cannot define at this stage, you say it's a body does not make sense. I mean, if you talk about sound method, you cannot have sound body in this class. I mean, logically, because you don't know which animal you're talking about. Animal is an abstract concept, right? And you have got lots of sound in your mind when you only talk about animal. Huh? You have sound of lion, sound of elephant, sound of dog. I mean, lots of animals are there, and you are not clear which animal you are talking about. So at this stage, the body of sound does not make sense. So you say, I want to have a method without body. Now, a method without body is not allowed in Java. But if you make it abstract, then you can have a method without body. Point one. Point two, when you've got an abstract method in a class, then that class must be abstract. Point number three, if you have an abstract class, it cannot be instantiated. The object of that class cannot be created. The object of that class cannot be created. Although you can declare its reference as we have done here and we have done here, but you cannot instantiate it. You cannot instantiate it. You cannot create object of that class. So say, for example, if I say animal equal to new animal, now you cannot do it. Now you cannot do it. The reason is animal is an abstract class. So for the abstract class, you cannot create object. You can see here, this is animal is abstract, cannot be instantiated. Right. And that makes sense. Huh? I mean, you say, I am going to create object of animal. You will say, okay, which animal? Huh? So you cannot create object of animal unless you are clear which animal you're talking about. You will say, I want to create object of dog. Okay. Create object of dog. If you want to create a dog, you must not instantiate animal. So that is the reason why they say, if you have got a class declared as an abstract, then you cannot instantiate it. You cannot create object of that class. Right. In this case, you can see when I made animal as an abstract class, then when I tried to create its object, Java complained. Right. So I cannot write this statement. Last point of the day, we'll finish the class then. If you have got an abstract method in a class, and if your class is extending from that class, then it is your responsibility to override that method. I mean, now for dog, for monkey, for cat, for donkey, for all of them, if they want to be children of animal, they must override sound. In this case, you know that sound is an abstract method and everyone has overridden it. That's okay. You can see this code was compiled without an error. Java C super sub demo, this code compiled well. But if say, for example, I have dog and say, for example, dog does not override sound method. Now dog does not have this option because sound in the base class is abstract. So overriding abstract method is mandatory for the child class. So now for the dog, in order to be an animal, it has to have sound. In simple words, you can say, now if a class have to be a subclass of an animal, then it must override all the abstract methods from the animal. So in this case, when you're not overriding sound, you will see that again compiler will complain. You can see here, I haven't saved it. Right. Java C, so you can see dog is not abstract and does not override abstract method sound. And in real life, this makes sense. You say if dog is an animal, then it should possess all the properties of animal. And whatever properties you want an animal to possess, mention them as abstract methods. right? If you say for an animal, to be an animal, it should have a sound, it should eat some food, and some other mandatory requirement for a species to be called as an animal, right? So all those mandatory properties, all those mandatory requirements that a subclass has to fulfill, they should be declared as abstract method inside base class. Then all the future classes which are deriving from that base class are bound to give implementation of those abstract methods. If you do not give, kind of overriding those abstract method, then compiler will complain, as you can see in this case, right? And as soon as you give implementation by uncommenting this, this code will be now compiled without any problem. I stop today's lecture here. I have an important meeting at 3. I will resume discussion again, hopefully face to face. But as I told you earlier, we are still waiting for the announcement from government of Sindh, because we are situated in Sindh, we are located in Sindh, so we have to follow whatever announcement is coming from government of Sindh. And government of Sindh said they will have a meeting tomorrow in the morning, and by afternoon they should be issuing a notification related to opening or closure of classes. In any case, I know that from Monday we are not resuming, because we do not want to give you a surprise. I mean, it would be unfair to inform you on Saturday evening that from Monday classes are resuming. Probably that will not happen. Even if government of Sindh says we can resume face to face, we'll give you a couple of days for travel. But hopefully, I mean, my personal wish is we should do face to face. But again, situation is not very conducive. Situations are very ideal for our safety reason. We have to live with it. Again, my request, whatever I'm delivering through these online Zoom sessions, these concepts apparently may look very simple, but when all these concepts are put together, you will have a lot to digest. So do a lot of practice. Read complete reference a lot, and solve a lot of online exercises related to all the topics that we are covering. So we stop this lecture here. I've already shared the code with you. I will be uploading this video later today because I'm rushing towards meeting. When I come back, I'll be uploading this video along with the PowerPoint lecture, and the code I've already shared with you. Thank you very much, all of you. I hope you have understood today's concept. Again, if you've got any question, I will be updating a forum on LMS. You can post your question on forum. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Allah Hafiz, sir.
Thank you. Bye.